Hello, friends, and happy Thursday. Welcome to championship afternoon slash evening-ish time. It's Stride eSports Rocket League back for one final time this season. And I got a new friendly face in the booth with me. I'm Mr. Bepic, and I got Trippin to my left this time around. Trippin, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Got the call, had to come in and see what some of the virtual high school Rocket League just environment has to offer. I've heard really good things from you and the crew about what these players have to offer. I'm excited to actually see it with my own eyes. High school esports is one of my favorite things to watch. The potential of some of these players is absolutely off the charts.
Absolutely. It's crazy what some of these kids can do. But before we get into all the fun stuff, we got to go through formalities one last time this season. The weekly schedule, as you all should be very familiar with by now. Every Monday, we're watching League of Legends out on the Rift. Tuesday, we get some chess action, high-flying chess action. And then Wednesday, Fortnite. Thursday, of course, Rocket League. And then tomorrow, one final Valorant stream every Friday. Well, actually, every Friday until tomorrow, which is the last one because it's championships week. So back into Rocket League since it is Thursday. Our first matchup of the day in the Eastern region, Virginia Virtual Academy versus Ohio Virtual Academy. And I was briefing Tripping about this one because this should be a heck of a match.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about both these teams, and honestly, I have seen some absolutely cracked high school players in Ohio before. I know that Ohio, for whatever reason, just lives and breeds some of these Rocket League players in this tier. It's absolutely insane what we have with Ohio coming in with Mediocre, Mystic, and Raid. I know even you were saying in the game chat here, talking about what Mediocre brings to the table and how, oh, every time he goes off the wall, probably going to hit a triple flip reset. So if you see some mechanics you might not expect from high school Rocket League players, prepare to be surprised.
Yeah, Mediocre and I were joking in the game chat. That was only slightly facetious, the triple flip reset. I don't want to put too much pressure on Mediocre going into this series because Virginia, definitely the favorites in this best of 7, but this is going to be one of the closest series we've seen all season in the Eastern region. Ohio has really been the only squad this entire season that has been able to challenge Virginia, who has been at the top of the table undisputedly since week 3 when these two teams played. Ohio took Virginia game 5, but Virginia Virtual Academy ended up winning that series. And those 2 games that Virginia lost in that series against Ohio were 2 of just 3 games they lost the entire season. They are 32-3, 10-0 in series record. They're coming in as the favorites, but Ohio can definitely make them sweat.
Hey, when you get down to Championship Thursday, as it is for today, everything is on the line. Now you're playing with absolutely nothing to lose, and I feel like the players on this Ohio team probably know that. They know that they have the undisputed #1 team in this league right now up against them. It's a difficult task, right? It's going to be very difficult to take this team down. As you mentioned, only have 3 losses on the season. 2 of them were to this squad. If anybody can take down Virginia, it's going to be Ohio, but it is going to be a very, very tall task as we get into game number 1.
Ohio's battle tested though. Their semifinal series that we had on stream last week went to 7 games. They were really tested by South Carolina, but they came out on top in that one. They showed a lot of resolve, a lot of clutch in their veins. But now the final boss in Virginia taking the pitch on the opposite side of them in this grand finals of Stride eSports Rocket League, the Eastern region first up on the docket. Let's get this thing started.
We're going to have Virginia in blue and Ohio in orange for this matchup, in case you are following along at home and don't have the opportunity to see the scoreboard here. Best of 7, as we mentioned, championship on the line. Both teams fighting to see which one is going to come out as the Eastern Conference champion. This is a quick challenge here in midair. A good shot on target is saved as we get through the first 40 seconds of this game.
Ooh, Shiva was in a tough spot there, but might have turned it into an opportunity here. Second touch, just a simple pop into the corner. Blurry going to take over, but the defense is holding strong despite some tough-looking punches to dodge. I mean, the offense is definitely on board. We saw potential demo play transition just a second ago out of Virginia. This potential redirection from Shibo, a little high, also saved by Mystic, but opportunities like that are going to be hurtling at Ohio's back line. Triple commits not going to help, but sometimes sometimes it feels necessary to stop Virginia.
And nothing says confidence like a pre-jump from halfway across the map, and Virginia is absolutely exuding that confidence right now. Both teams have a lot of speed and a lot of firepower, but right now it's Virginia who's taking it to the Ohio backline. Mystical redirect off backward opportunity here for Blurry. It's saved by Mediocre on the goal line. And W2's ready for it. They'll clear this one away. A great look for Virginia, Beppe, but Ohio able to withstand the test.
I don't know how Mediocre bailed their team out of that situation, because it was, they looked dead to rights. I thought Chibo was nailing that final touch, but couldn't quite get it. And so Ohio keeping us scoreless, and they've had a couple of chances on the other end themselves, but things just kind of keep falling apart around that second touch area, but they still score first. It's a simple shot by Mystic, but apparently effective. I gotta watch this one again, though.
Hey, sometimes it's about going back to basics, right? If you see an opportunity to just lob one on target, go for it. Nobody's back. Blurry probably a little bit too far dispositioned on that back post, and a great look at the net from Mystic, sending that one far side, sending it top corner. That's how you get one on the board. Shiba was not happy about it and trying to turn things around right away. Won't get that initial look, but Ohio's at least got an early lead.
Mediocre trying to make it two, just kind of plugging this one into enemy territory, stealing some boost while they're at it. Another tough block necessary there. Blurry this time going to get it for Virginia, but Ohio starting to really cook offensively. I was worried for a second about them. They were playing a lot of tough, gritty defense, but now they look fine. That probably should have been 2 goals, Raid. I don't know if they realized just how open that net was, but Ohio maintaining possession, and they'll look to make it 2 soon enough.
Yeah, that is a big missed opportunity, one they're going to have to quickly recover from, and it's Mystic who tries to start it. It's W2 who has the control, looking for the double tap. A back wall is going to be saved by Raids into the corner. Now Blurry will do it themselves with 50 boost, goes to the flip reset, gets a great low 50. Mystic's going to be there on the save, keeping the pressure on. Is Shivo still out in front of that Ohio net, struggling to get it clear? Finally, it's iMediocre who's able to punch it into the far corner.
The second touch as well, it's just wide, but that's on frame. It's 2 Ohio, still looking to add on to their lead that they're maintaining thus far, but Virginia so close to finding an answer, but Ohio looking stout on their back line thus far. Mystic playing that off to the side, but into Shibo's hands. The second follow-up solid. Blurry winning the subsequent 50 though, rated, and it's an touch center for Water, and it's an easy interception by Water. That'll knot us up at 1 apiece.
Yeah, that is not a pronunciation that I was going to guess, but quite honestly, this angle from Water is not one I would have guessed either. Able to get that redirect on the defensive mistouch, tying things up here at 1 apiece. They got 90 seconds on the clock between the two, been pretty even so far, but watch out for this Virginia team as they start to warm up and get more confident. It's going to be even more and more difficult for Ohio to keep up. Mediocre knows that. They'll at least dispossess Blurry for the time being. Water will take it out of their own end. Raids will settle down at midfield. Blurry on the attack, won't have it. Mystic now going for the backboard, getting a great low 50. It's saved in front of the net by Blurry. No one there from Ohio though to get the rebound shot.
Shiba hung around though, and will push back Ohio for a second, but all the possession stats right now just about dead even. Virginia expending just a little bit more boost than Ohio, but we're tied. Both have had about equal opportunities on their opponent's net. Virginia 7 shots, actually only 3 for Ohio, which is a little surprising considering how much time they've spent on the Virginia end, but slightly different styles of offense going at it at the moment. There's shot number 4, that one deterred by Water, and backing up for a second is Ohio. That's a dangerous ball, left the net exposed for a second, but Ohio going to recover before Virginia could strike back.
About the efficiency though. If you're going to take that few shots, you got to make sure when you do it, they're on frame and they are quality, and that's something Ohio has done so far. Yes, they did have 1 missed opportunity, but they have largely been efficient here on offense. Virginia going with the throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Very different styles here. 0-second opportunity will touch the ground. We tied up here in overtime of game 1, Bepic.
Ooh, that could have been a lot worse for Ohio. A double commit on 0 seconds as your last 2 players back, but Mediocre coaxes the ball to overtime, and Mystic will start us off with a bang, but Water intercepting at the midfield line, finding Blurry downfield, but another interception. Both these squads reading what their opposition is trying to do to get down the field fairly well. And there again, Water diving in, but the play read by Raids. And I'm mediocre field, just causing a little bit of chaos. Raid stepping up for another 50-50. We're fighting over possession right now. Virginia ahead for a second, forcing double commits out of Ohio, but that's kind of been the case throughout this game. And Ohio, they don't seem too phased when they send too many players the ball.
No, they're not super worried about it, because even if they send a couple too many players upfield, that communication, that chemistry, and that recovery is still far too strong, and they're able to get into the positions that they need to very quickly. And defense is the position they're going to need right now with the attack coming in from Virginia. It'll be denied, cleared off back. Well, this one going the full distance. Mediocre chasing this one back. Won't be able to make the touch. It'll go off the crossbar. It's Reigns who will touch it into the corner. Blurry ready for it. Will center this one out. Not going to have a shot there initially. Virginia struggling to get someone in front of the box, and what an opportunity that Virginia had on that net, and Ohio manages to stand the test of time yet again.
Ohio has looked lost in defense a couple of times. It's been very chaotic more than a couple of times, but they somehow keep surviving. Another block by a mediocre, low on boost, but getting the job done. Ohio, okay, I thought that ball was on target for a second, but no, they haven't won it just yet. That would be like Ohio, almost concede, end up winning on the other end. That shot just off. The rebound not going to come through. Raids backing off, playing this ball further backwards, using the wall above their nets to great success. Ohio is playing unconventional defense, scary defense if you're a fan of theirs, but it's worked thus far.
That is the best possible word that I could think of to describe the defensive looks that I'm seeing in Ohio is unconventional. But hey, it works, right? If you have a strategy and you can play to it, you can execute it effectively, who cares what it looks like to the seasoned Rocket League player? It makes absolutely no difference. Almost 2.5 minutes, so almost a halfway through another game. This ball will be settled out at midfield. Mediocre versus Blurry. It will be target. Oh, it's off the nose of Water, and Reigns is going to get credit for the goal. Unfortunate positioning there for Water, because it bounces right off their nose, right into the net, and that's an Ohio victory.
Oh my word. That is probably the strangest game of Rocket League I have seen all season in Stride eSports Rocket League. The somehow ability of Ohio to survive the longest of onslaughts, and then Virginia. That was a team own goal there at the end. Blurry contesting the challenge at the ceiling. It goes backwards, okay, but that forces a little bit too much panic out of the two other teammates, and Virginia end up. They didn't give that game to Ohio, but a bit of a gift at the end there. But Ohio surviving that long to get to that point where they can force a mistake like that of Virginia, incredibly impressive. And I hope that's a great sign of how this series is going to go. That was entertaining.
Yeah, I also hope the same thing. I got an opportunity this past weekend to cast some really good Rocket League matches, and one of the things that came through for one of the teams was just a consistent own goaling when they were up against a very, very difficult team. And it got a couple different unfortunate situations where the ball ends up rolling into their own net and they have those own goals. You hate to see them. They are very, very painful, but it's very important, especially where we're at right now, to get over that, to be comfortable with the fact that a mistake was made, but be able to build off of it, be resilient, come through and say, it's okay. We have one own goal. We got scored on kickoff right away in the very next game. That's fine. Settle down, do what you need to do, take care of some business. But Shibo's touch, unfortunately, intercepted by Mediocre. Mediocre launches that one into the open net.
If there is a team good enough to respond to adversity like this, it is Virginia. But this is a situation they've only been in twice this season, a series where they've lost a game, which is absurd to say, but that's just how good Virginia has been relative to the rest of their competition. But one of the series in which they lost a game was against this Ohio team, so they know how to beat Ohio when the series goes the distance, though. That was back in week 3. A lot of time has passed since then, but it's a long series. There's a lot of time for Virginia to find their footing here.
Yeah, there's always a lot of time to go here, especially when you're talking about a best-of-7 series that gets tied up by a Water reading this touch out of the corner, missed it, getting dunked by Blurry. Shibo on a perfectly timed turn, and Water with great positioning to finish. I mean, that was going to be a goal no matter who was going to score. Blurry was in the right place at the right time as well to pick up a first goal. We're right back up to even, Bepik. Last time we were at 1-1, we
had like 2.5 minutes. We've made it to overtime. 4.5 minutes though. Neither of these teams to score. I'm not taking my chances on that bet.
There's no way. If Ohio was playing the same defense they were playing in the last game, there's no way they hold on against Virginia for a whole other game. That would just be insane. So, well, we'll see what happens if the teams decide to break the deadlock a little earlier than last time, or if the defenses take center stage here in game 2 of this grand finals. Inbound is Mystic, firing one near post and saved by Water. We'll dive in for a subsequent challenge as well, but Ohio maintaining possession, keeping the ball in play at Virginia's end for a second, but Shibo, a big extension on that blurry clear. It's an opportunity now for Virginia Virtual Academy, but play just kind of stuck in corners right now. Neither side allowing real opportunities to fall into their opponent's hands.
Yeah, both teams trying to get that ball to work towards the middle. It's Mediocre getting the demo here to try to free things up a little bit. Mystic will catch on back wall with no boost to work with whatsoever, so somehow manages an absolutely fantastic 50. Passed out here by Raids. It'll have to be a beat here at midfield. Not quite gonna get it. Water has some control. It's Mystic alone. It'll get popped up right in front of the box. It's Blurry who's going up to make a touch on this play. They'll get beaten by Mediocre. And again, that Ohio defense, Bepic, that you mentioned before, continues to stand on its head and do work.
That is something that Ohio has done very, very well, is kind of cut out plays before they've really even developed. They are challenging Virginia extremely quickly in the aerospace, and that's been kind of the biggest... Okay, I'll hold that thought. I'm talking about Virginia's play style. Let's talk about Ohio, who just snatched the lead on a pretty simple transition. I mean, force the ball off the corner wall and finish it off with a gorgeous drop-down shot. Nicely done, Mystic.
Yeah, that is a phenomenal adjustment there by Mystic above the crossbar to just be able to slow down the car and get just that little bit of redirect that you need. As I like to say, hit them with the changeup. If they're expecting a fast shot, just slow things down a little bit. A lot of the time, you're going to catch them off guard. Shibo is not caught off guard. However, this will get pinched off the backboard down in front of the net is Raids, who will get the clear. We've got a rule 1 on the right-hand side of the pitch as well. Look at the wing. It's Mediocre and Raids versus Shibo and Blurry in what has now turned into a 2v2 at halftime.
We're only in game 2, and this grand finals is already delivering essentially everything we could ask for. A long overtime, an insane defensive stand, own goals, rule 1s, everything thus far. And so we'll see how this 2v2 ends up. But the point I was trying to make earlier, Ohio, one of the few teams in the Eastern region that can contest Virginia when it comes to aerospace dominance. They're speedy, getting to challenges up in the air, and they'll connect with passes like that up off the ground. That was well executed pass out of defense, but Raid with a big demo. See if they get back in time. Mystic is caught in no man's land. The rule 1 apparently broke up when I wasn't paying attention. We're back to full strength.
Yeah, I think it was that demo that we actually opened things up. But either way, we are still with 1.5 minutes to go. I was saying earlier, a couple minutes ago, 4.5 minutes, no one going to score, only got 1 goal in that time. Mystic looking to get another one with a great low 50. It's still out in front of the net, but Water will get there just in time to clear it out. Trying to hook up with Shibo at midfield, will not find them. Water will collect a demo. The Mediocre off the ceiling, it gets past 1. Water going up on the 50, but will regain control at midfield. Shibo looking to help out. Raids and Mystic playing some solid defense here in the final 60 seconds. Game number 2, Ohio took game number 1 in the lead in game number 2.
Oh, Blurry might just cough this one up. Oh, quick reaction speed, though. Gets back for a second touch, but was left alone in defense and almost gave away the house. That would have been game 2. Very close to sealed up with how good Ohio's been playing in defense. They still might score a third, but I don't know if Water did anything to say about it. A Savior medal there. Off the wall shot. Blocked there by Shibo. And that's a deep clear. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Virginia. They're trying to posture here. Final 30 seconds. They need an extended offensive stand, it feels, to break down Ohio one last time and force us into OT for the second straight game.
Ohio really has not been giving up much. This is the worst look that they've had so far, and it's still not that bad of a look, and it goes just a bit wide for Blurry, not able to find the back of the net, hitting the final 10 seconds here of game number 2. It's Blurry and Water both up, neither of them able to connect with that play. Water will have to play it in the corner, time continuing to tick away, and it is not their friend. A good spike here from Ohio will finish things up, and they almost double the number of losses for Virginia so far this season. That's 2 in a row for Ohio.
Wow. Okay. Virginia's being put on notice right here. Ohio has come to play. This time, though, not needing to make any saves. They had 9 in game 1. Ohio did. And here, 0 on just 3 shots that Virginia put on the board. That's absurd, considering Virginia had 10 opportunities in the last game, albeit it was a long overtime. But their offense looks dangerous. And here, they were kind of confined to the sidewalls and the corners. There was nothing that really leaked center. Ohio's challenge game was on point defensively, and then they're making Virginia work for their chances here.
Yeah, Ohio played really well on both sides of the ball. They put 6 shots on target. They forced Virginia to save 3. That's a pretty darn good look as well when you consider that in game number 1, I mean, in regulation, they only had 4 shots, and the 4th one was just barely coming in right at the end. If they continue that offensive pressure, they're most certainly going to make life difficult for Virginia. But we've said how many times, do not count this team out. They most certainly have the strength and the speed to recover, and they'll try to do it here in game 3.
All right, we'll see what Virginia does do, but held to just 1 goal per game thus far in this series. Their offense needs to pick it up, needs to reach that championship caliber here. Ohio has done enough to take victories, but it's their defense that's been leading the charge. Virginia has to find a way to break it down ASAP. You don't want to have to reverse sweep in a best-of-7 scenario with all the pressure of it being the grand finals of an entire season's worth of Rocket League. And that was a chance there for Shibo. He couldn't get it to go. Water trying to recover the play and does well to force everyone out of the net for Ohio, but this dive back defense of Ohio has been phenomenal. They're reading the play perfectly, and they'll find a clear here as a result of it.
Yeah, Mediocre going to get a little bit of help there from Water, but Shibo able to recover in time. Wins the 50 with Raids on the white ring. Blurry comes in, really increasing that speed here. Are Virginia to get one in the box, but still cannot collect a goal. Going to be cleared out all the way to midfield. Raids will not be able to collect the touch. Mystic will have to make one themselves. It'll bounce off side wall. Blurry looking to make the turn, not going to get there in time. Raids is going to throw this one. It's off backboard. Raids has their lead right in front of the box. Mystic will regain control, passing this one up to Raids. This one's 50 off the backboard. Here comes Mediocre. I don't know if they quite have that angle. They do not, and it's clear.
Tough angle, but Mediocre went for it. Shows you the confidence level that they're sitting at here in game 3 of the grand finals with that 2-game lead over the #1 team in the Eastern region. Chance there for Raids. I don't know how much they knew about it before it was right in front of their face. So tough to react quickly and put that shot on target. But Ohio controlling possession right now, starting to gain field domination control as they've played the last 20-30 seconds or so of this game in blue territory. That was an opportunity. I love the physicality that Ohio's employing to throw Virginia off. It's keeping them penned back, but not conceding just yet.
Yeah, Blurry got sent to Narnia, but unfortunately Ohio was not able to capitalize on that opportunity, nearly getting counterattacked here as well, as that one will go just wide of the target. Raids will collect 100 boost and beat Shibo, now trying to recover it down. Mystic will go for a double tap themselves. They won't find it. Now Mediocre will have to chase back. It's 2-on-1. Mediocre's gone. Mystic is going to get the save. Here comes everybody, though, for Virginia, and it's going to be Shibo who will get this one. The first time we've seen a lead for Virginia.
Oh, that demo was perfect. I mean, Mystic was back, yes, but with 0 boost, you're only really getting 1 touch there. Mystic wasn't able to get the perfect touch on that ball to force it all the way into the corner and out of Virginia's hands. And so everyone kind of collapses there for Virginia upon the ball, and they get first blood here in game 3. Phenomenal counterattack. Now it's them withstanding gobs of pressure in defense and then turning it into a quick score on the other end.
Yeah, where this is going to get interesting is that we haven't seen an Ohio team that's had to play from behind yet, and we haven't seen a Virginia team that's been able to play with a lead yet. They're two very, very different styles of play and abilities of play even. You don't get to see this very often. A new shot on target here to try to extend that lead from Water is saved by Mystic, and Ohio will continue to try to fight back. I largely expect this Virginia team to play even more aggressively, even more solidly with this lead than they did when they were trying to chase from behind.
If they're going to up the aggression, they have to be careful. There's a couple of times in this series so far they've given up potential open net looks in transition, but I do agree with you. You want to add on pound the lead if you're Virginia here. You've been kind of down in the dumps a little bit, losing close games to this Ohio team that's been playing so well to open up this best of 7. And Virginia going to add to the lead right here. It's all Shibo, though. Beautiful touch off the back wall, down and on in.
And it all starts with a fantastic 50, just getting into that passing lane, clogging things up a little bit. The pinch works out in their favor. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but I feel like Virginia got a little bit of both on that play as they extend their lead to 2. Shibo with yet another dunk gets punished by Raids for that effort. Where to the back wall, Mediocre's touch will just be floating there for a moment. Worry challenging Raids. Shibo coming in on the angle, passes out to mid. No one is there. Might be a bit of a mistake to give Mystic this much of an opportunity, but with 0 boost going to work out for them. Not too much threat here from Ohio so far as they struggle to get the ball in the box.
Mediocre got through one. We'll set up Mystic for a second touch, but again, not able to come up with it. Mediocre just refilled the tank, so all the way back to the 100. Looks like a challenge with Shibo that Mediocre will win. Mystic, though, again, empty. That Maroon Fennec just has no resources to work a play together with, and that's causing Ohio to lose out on opportunities here, and they're forced to retreat once again. That shot from Shibo denied, but Blurry's follow-up is good. 3-0 Virginia, and I think it's safe to say this game 3 is getting very close to wrapped up.
Yeah, things getting just a little bit out of hand defensively for Ohio, and not only that, but they have really struggled with boost this matchup. I feel like every single time that we cut to one of their players in a great offensive look, we're looking at a play with 0 boost, just struggling to keep up with the ball, and a player from Virginia who's happy to take the boost and the ball away from Ohio. Now they've got 30 seconds and 3 goals to go. Blurry trying to make it 4. Mediocre will save this one initially. Water will come in on the bounce shot. Mystic will get up in time to make the kick save. This one looking like it is just about wrapped, folks, as we hit the final 10 seconds. A 3-0 lead at the moment for Virginia, continuing to try to make it 4. Ohio will get one final big clear all the way into the opposite half. Blurry will throw it, looking for Shibo, looking for the redirect. 0 seconds. Does Blurry have it? No, it'll hit the back of the wall. It'll bounce down, but Virginia now on the board.
That's the kind of bounce back game you hope to see from a team like Virginia, because we know they're capable of putting up 3+ goals in a game. It's just a matter of can they execute in a championship scenario. And right there, down 0-2 in this series, they did exactly what they needed to do. They controlled the pace of play. They denied Ohio on the opposite end. Ohio still hovering around the 5-6 shot opportunity per game mark, but this time around Virginia saving 4 of those and then applying 9 shots of their own on the opposite end. That was very well done. That looked a lot more like the #1 overall Virginia we've been seeing all season.
Yeah, and it's critical, as you mentioned, for Virginia to have been able to bounce back in this game. You do not want to be down 3-0 in a best of 7 and allow your opponents to have that much momentum. But now if we're talking about what Ohio has to do, they have to have a bounce back game themselves. They have to get themselves to match point and get that pressure added to Virginia, because now they've got confidence. Not only did they win, but they won in very dominant fashion. A 3-0 shutout where you put 9 shots on target is a very strong and capable win. I don't think that there was ever a moment where Ohio really felt like they had control. Virginia had all the pressure in that one, and we'll go into game number 4 with a Virginia team that's absolutely reeling.
And I was expecting that kind of game eventually from Virginia, because the style of defense that Ohio was playing, all those double commits, all that boost expended to make these crazy diving saves, it'll get you a couple of game wins, but it's not sustainable. You have to settle things down defensively, and you have to control the boost game a little bit more. Maybe not control the boost game, but manage the boost game a little bit better, because Ohio had plenty of boost in that last game. Their boost totals were around the same as Virginia, but every time we cut, like you said, to one of their players, they were usually at or near an empty tank, which is not easy to set up an offensive with. And so it comes down to boost management. You've got the boost, but you're expending all of it before the play is even really getting started. So you gotta save that a little bit to get yourself over the midfield line, grab those midfield hundreds, maybe steal some boost in your opponent's corner as well. But it comes down to how much boost you're expending before the ball even gets to you.
Sustainable Rocket League is something that we talk about all the time on the desk, and that players mention all the time. Consistency is key. By all means, Right now, both teams having a decent amount of consistency in most of their touches and most of their looks. Looking to get the next step up, and Blurry's got that next step. A missile from midfield, crossbar down, and the lead to Virginia.
Raid coughed that up, and Shibo knew exactly where to go once control was gained again by Virginia. They've spent the first minute 15 of this game, 80% of it in the orange half. It's been all Virginia. That pass was perfect. Execution on point out of the #1 seed right there. They'll grab the initial lead here in game 4, and they're looking to really storm back in this series. This is starting to get dominant for Virginia, and Ohio has to flip the script ASAP.
Yeah, where is that answer for Ohio? At what point will we be able to see that? Or are we just going to see Water with a musty pass to the team? And unfortunately does not go. Shibo will knock it down, cleared up by Mediocre. Transition opportunity denied by Blurry. Water waiting in the corner. Does not make the touch. Mystic does get beat, however. Now Water has an opportunity to put another one on target. It'll be there. So will Mediocre defensively. Now Mystic will clear it out. Has some control in the air. Looking for a flip reset. Shibo with a great challenge. Will get a little bit of a pinch as it leaks out to midfield. Over the top of Raids, popping it up, looking for Mystic. Here comes Mystic off the backboard, coming back down. Open that opportunity here. It's gonna go past everybody, a little bit too tall.
And that was a chance for Ohio. I mean, just a soft double commit led to missing out on an opportunity and then conceding on the opposite end almost immediately after that offensive died out for Ohio. Again, the passing play for Virginia is pinpoint accurate, and the shot, the same exact thing. Virginia is starting to run away with things. A 2-0 lead at around the halfway point. We're still hunting for that answer from Ohio.
Yeah, some fantastic transition opportunities there for Virginia. And let's bear in mind, folks, with a shutout in the last game and a halftime through of this game, Ohio is in one heck of a scoring drought. Outscored 5-0 in the last 7 minutes of Rocket League is not a very good look and something incredibly difficult to build momentum off of. Here's a great opportunity with the double demo as the ball's in front of the net. A good look here for Raids. And just as I talk about a scoring drought, it finally starts to drizzle.
And there's the answer. I mean, it's an explosive answer. That's the adjustment Ohio makes, integrating more demos and physicality into their offensive rotation. We saw a little bit of that in previous games, but right there it culminated in a direct score. That was perfect from Ohio. The double demo is exactly what you need. If you can't beat full strength Virginia, take them out. But Virginia, when they're back to full strength, they look mighty fine. Off the second kickoff, a fake from Water, that's clinical.
I mean, if you ever watch hockey, if you're a hockey fan, right, getting that power play goal obviously makes you feel really good when you have that advantage. But when the teams get back to full strength and they answer that quickly on you, that is a really good sign for Virginia and a really bad sign for Ohio. This Virginia team continues to put on that pressure. They get a quick score, and now Ohio is back to chasing 2 yet again, despite finally getting a goal on the board. Under 2 minutes to play. Looking for a fourth here is Blurry, and they will get the defense to bite their 4th goal on 5 shots.
I gotta watch this one again. Mystic is all alone, no boost in the tank. Had to pick up a small pad, had 12 boost to defend against that soft air dribble shot from Blurry, and that is not enough to stop a player like Blurry from scoring. So much agency in the air when they're behind the ball, and 12 boost is not going to cut it. It didn't right there, and now the lead balloons to 3. For Virginia Virtual Academy. They look on pace to tie this series up at 2 apiece. Not quite, maybe going to find a 5th goal. Okay, the defense is back. I thought that was going to be wraps right then and there.
Yeah, there was a good opportunity there for Virginia if they were a little bit closer to that play on offense, but they are not, and there is nobody back on defense. Speaking about some offense, as Ohio collects their 2nd goal here, it's an overcommit entirely for Virginia, and Raids is happy to capitalize on that one.
That's been the Achilles heel at times. Virginia tossing a little too much in their offensive basket and leaving their defensive one a little bit empty. And that opens the door really for Ohio, because a 3-goal lead into the final minute we almost never see come back from in competitive Rocket League. But a 2-goal comeback in the next 75 seconds is more than possible, especially with a team like Ohio that has shown us how good they can be in offense. It's just a matter of gaining your self-possession and having that clutch factor in your veins in the the final 60 seconds.
Yeah, that mental, that clutch going to be absolutely huge here into the final minute for Ohio. They get a touch out to midfield, and Water continuing that pressure here for Virginia. It'll be blurry to get beat on that play. Shibo going back has just enough boost to work with to try to collect this ball. Demoed for the effort. However, Water will bring it out. Mediocre on the very aggressive challenge. Raids trying to get out of the way. Unfortunately, knocks it back down. Nothing yet in the first 30 seconds of the last minute. Into the final 30 now.
Ohio is vehemently fighting for possession now. Might have overextended though. Shibo was trying to redirect it. I think didn't have any boost though. So Virginia sent backwards. Blurry couldn't control it up the sidewall. Chance for Mediocre, but Water in transition. Going to get back for the stoppage. And now Raids just trying to do anything to find a teammate, but Ohio backed up all the way to their goal line. They need one ASAP, but no goal here. Virginia going to take game 4, level up the series, both sides now with 2-game runs to give us a really entertaining grand finals and a guaranteed game 6.
Yeah, you really hate to talk about moral victories in something like this if you're Ohio, but I have to say, the way that they played probably the final 2 minutes of that game was so significantly better than the way they played the first 3. And honestly, the way they played the overwhelming majority of the game prior. They only got 2 shots on board, but they played some solid defense with a 14-shot onslaught from Virginia. And that's where they played best. And also we talked about game number 1, where we saw Ohio very, very few shots, but very, very efficient with their goals. They shot 100% this game. I mean, they're still very efficient, but now it's just a matter of getting that Virginia to shoot just a little bit less, getting them a little bit more out of sorts, and then you have some much better looks for Ohio. That's how they're going to have to come back if they want to get themselves on the match point here in game 5.
Absolutely. Giving up 14 shots in a game to a team like Virginia is, again, not sustainable, Rocket League. You got to bring that number down. And now you start to wonder if you're an Ohio player or an Ohio fan. Last time these two teams played, it was a Virginia reverse sweep. Ohio won the first 2, Virginia won the last 3, and we saw kind of a repeat of that, at least thus far, through the first 4 games of this grand finals, as we have a false start in game 5. So you'll get to look at our lovely faces a little bit longer, but that doubt starts to creep into the back of your head if you're Ohio. Oh no, are we getting reverse swept again ish?
Yeah, that is never a good feeling to have, right? And hopefully, yeah, we did have a little bit of a tech issue here with one of the players, but hopefully this is still a time to settle down and to regain a little bit and to focus on what the ultimate goal is. The focus is not don't get reverse swept. The focus is win, right? You don't want to think about the bad things that could potentially happen to you. You want to think about the good things that you can control, what you are going to be able to do when you get to the pitch. And I think for Ohio, like I said, generate just a tiny bit more offense. You're so effective with your goals when you do shoot. Just shoot more forehead. I mean, right? That's all it comes down to, you know?
Yeah, if only it was that easy. I mean, so many small things Ohio has to adjust here. But you're right. They do have to somewhere find more offense, whether they got to go dig it in their closet or maybe it's in the basement tucked away in a box. I don't know. They got to know where that offense is located, though, because they had it in the first 2 games. I mean, yes, only 11 combined shots in those first 2 wins, but with their defense playing as well as it was, that was giving them wins. Now they need even more offense because their defense isn't quite as strong as it was to open up this series. Virginia's kind of figured them out just a little bit, forcing them to concede 7 times in games 3 and 4. So Ohio has to up the ante with offense. And we saw the double demo play working and physical bump plays working in that last game. Now they can make a couple more saves on their own end and use that physicality and offense with a little midfield control as well. They'll be in good standing. It's just a matter of execution at this point.
Yeah, that double demo play, like you said, upping that physicality was great. We saw a couple opportunities where players were bumped far out of the play as well. When you're coming through on that rotation, you're trying to set up a teammate. The best place to look to help out your team after you're no longer on the ball is right in the net. Who's playing defense? Are they on the backboard? Are they on the ground? Take that player out. If you're going to put only a couple shots on target a game and they have to be quality and you know they're going to get saved when you put it on target, take that defender out. But you could say the same as that thing for Virginia. I mean, look at how many saves that Ohio had on how many of the shots Virginia had. They could also up the physicality a little bit and find themselves not only winning games, but winning games by even larger margins.
Virginia, though, I mean, their midfield control has really impressed me because, yes, Ohio, towards the end of Game 4, when I think things were kind of already wrapped up, was able to break through a couple of times, but Virginia was keeping Ohio penned back and making defensive mistakes and wasting boost, having to play defense instead of offense. And that's something that's very valuable, to settle into a series and be able to control the pace of play, force Ohio to play your style of Rocket League, not the style we saw in the first couple of games with chaotic defense into crazy goals, forced own goals that benefited Ohio. And that's something Virginia's going to have to let slip a little bit here if Ohio is going to come back, because Virginia's in the driver's seat right now. And the seatbelt's on. They don't look like they're getting out anytime soon.
No, and that's really important, especially when you're talking about a best-of-7 series and you start to get deep into it, is playing your own game and don't give the opposition the opportunity to get comfortable into a situation. Continue to have your foot on the gas. We've resolved the technical issue. We'll be able to jump back into the lobby now. We have Water, Blurry, and Shibo back in for Virginia, and Mediocre, Raids, and Mystic in on the other side for Ohio.
And our scoreboard reset with that unfortunate tech difficulty. So a reminder, if you are just joining us, it is 2-2 right now in this Eastern Region Grand Finals, as close as it gets entering Game 5. And last time these two teams played each other, it was the same pathing. 2 games Ohio, 2 games Virginia. And in Game 5, it was Virginia that ended up taking that one. This is a best-of-7, of course. So Virginia, if they do win this 5th game, series isn't over. Ohio still has time to bounce back, but Ohio, I'm sure, don't want a repeat of that Week 3 series whatsoever.
Yeah, whoever wins will still have one more to go. Through the first 45 seconds, neither team able to find a goal. Shibo trying to change that. Is this going to be redirected into the net? And it's a little bit of payback for Water's own goal. Unfortunate touch here on the back wall. The Shibo shot is off target, and Mystic redirects that one into their own net. You hate to see it, but hey, both teams are even now.
What goes around comes around, I suppose, sure even in high-stakes grand finals. But that's panicky defense out of Ohio again. I mean, there was a back wall defender, and Mystic, I guess, didn't realize it, so try to dive in to help, ends up conceding the first, and then off kickoff of that first concession, a second one finds its way through. Shibo combining with Blur. Sorry, that was a full team effort. It was Water, Blurry, and Shibo all involved there. And it's 2-0 Virginia already.
Yeah, you talk about some panicky defense, and that's what we saw right at the beginning of that play, as it was Shibo who got ultimate control and got an absolute monster of a flick to beat the defender. A little bit too scrambly on the defensive side. We've seen it a couple times out of Ohio, but by and large, they do recover from that situation nicely. Down by 2 goals, however, in this situation, have a long way to go to recover. Good pop here from Raids to beat the first. Worry ready for the second. It'll bounce off the wall, coming back all the way around. Raids with the back pass, looking for Mediocre. Has them, but only has 25 boost. Raids is up and ready. Fakes out Water. A great play here from Raids, and that's going to get Ohio right back in it.
Raids touched that, apparently. Like, I didn't notice the trajectory change, but okay, apparently Raids got a toe on it because they steal that goal from Mediocre, but I would give that goal to them even if they didn't touch the ball, because that fake is what allowed that ball to go in. I mean, the last defender back there for Virginia had to read so much going on in transition for Ohio, and that resulted in what looked like a dumb goal going in, but there was a lot that went into that score for Ohio.
Yeah, sometimes it looks a little bit easier than it actually is, and that one was by no means easy. A demo at midfield, and Raids will have a 0 boost opportunity to hand the ball over to Water, regaining some control, knocking it down. Mystic cannot get in front of it. Shibo with the pass in front of the box. Raids is going to pop this one high up in the air. Mystic out to Mediocre. A great outlet pass and a great outlet clear. There's not a whole lot more that I love to see than a defensive passing play to get it clear. They don't get a shot here offensively. This one redirected in front of that and cleared by Mediocre, but that's okay.
Off the ceiling, Water going to play it in Shibo's direction. Again, that outlet pass that you love tripping, working to Ohio's favor. It'll give him a chance, but a tough sidewall bounce gives Blurry potentially an open net now. No boost to catch up to it, but the net's so open. Actually, no. I thought the ball was going in, but Mystic, like Superman, diving across the goal line, keeping it out for now. And Ohio going the other way, trying to make it 2 apiece, just like our series, but they can't get it to go. Still stuck at just 1 goal here in Game 5. Virginia defends very, very well.
Mystic was taken out of that play, and now Mediocre has it with one whole boost to work with. They use it to play it to the back wall. Mystic will come off the wall. We have a player on the ceiling looking for some defense as well. Great recovery from Mystic, staying close to the play, called off by Raids, who unfortunately not able to make the touch. Mediocre put one in the middle. Blurry's gonna beat Mystic here. It is a wide open net, a little bit too aggressive there on defense from Ohio, and Virginia punishes.
Yeah, that was very ambitious. I know I was complimenting Ohio earlier for their speed matching Virginia in the sky, but right there, that's an ill-advised and very blatant challenge that Mystic is taking right there. I mean, all the way. You know Mystic is challenging, and you can just play it over their head. And so good awareness by Virginia. Take advantage of that slight defensive lapse by Ohio, and to make it 3-1 back to a 2-goal lead. Ohio has to answer quickly because we're entering the business end of this game, and Blurry's just made it 4, making it even harder for Ohio now.
Blurry's all made of business, collecting this one on the ground and just taking an opportunity to send it into the net. Mystic, even though they got back on defense, could not get back in time to actually make the save. That extends Virginia's lead to 3, a 4-1 lead at the moment. They gave up 2 early games to Ohio, and it has been all Virginia ever since. Final 80 seconds is Mystic versus Water. Water backs up into that save and clears it out to their partner in Blurry.
Just a touch rushed right there was Ohio. Chance to rush in here. Now actually Shivo going to double it off their own back wall. I love that. Don't love that though. Double commit, free shot for I'm Mediocre, and they will nail that 10 times out of 10. Ohio starting to storm back, but they need to keep the momentum going in their direction after this.
I still get a little bit worried about how that play was set up in the first place, though. We had a double commit in the corner that gave them that opportunity. I know how much both of these teams like to play with speed and an absolutely insane level of aggression, but if you're Ohio, you have to be careful with that one, especially when you're down. I know you're giving up the kitchen sink. I know everything is out there for you. Just gotta watch that a little bit. They're settling down here with an opportunity and possession of the ball. It's Mediocre who will start things to the left wing. Mystic is right there. They'll knock it back down to Blurry. Back out to midfield. This one's on target. Water back in time. It does not matter. And Mediocre gonna help the team out. Over 600 points in this game. Scores the goal. 37 on the clock. Ohio down 1.
That touch from Mystic off the side wall was so strange, but so effective. Blurry wasn't expecting it. I wasn't expecting it, and I was watching it develop, and that allowed I'm Mediocre to finish off that play a bit easier than they would have initially. Now that it opened again, who's there for the finish? I'm Mediocre puts it off to the side. Raids trying to clean it up, but they missed contact. It was a tight angle. Ohio within 1 almost tied us up, but they're really storming back. They have to be careful though. Mystic, last player back again. Now double commit with I'm Mediocre. This is a little dangerous for Ohio, but they have to go fast. So I can understand a little bit of panic seeping in. Maybe it's just high speed, but that looked panicky in defense.
Certainly did, and at 10 seconds counting this one, bounce off the post in front of the net. Mystic, the one who's going to win the low 50, trying to chase this one down with 0 boost, has a redirect. It's just on target. It'll hit the post. It'll fall down in front. A player was there for Ohio to score the goal, but time ran out before they were able to do it, and it's Virginia who will move on to match point on the back of another 14-shot performance.
Well, that was incredibly close, but like you said, 14 shots again given up by Ohio to Virginia, and I said it's not sustainable. Ohio kind of almost had a chance at winning that game there despite conceding 14 shots, but you can't be doing that. 9 saves, all by a Mediocre and Mystic. That's just not something you can win now 2 games in a row off the back of. You have to play so perfect in defense and in offense. If you're giving up 14 and only putting up 6 shots of your own, Ohio's in a precarious position, and they've yet to really turn the tides back on Virginia.
And if you're talking about perfection, let's not forget there was an own goal peppered in there as well from Ohio that gave Virginia one of their 4 goals. And that is certainly weighing on the minds of this Ohio squad right now as they look to answer back, have dropped 3 straight here, and now look to push themselves to one more victory to get into that Game 7 situation and to really take it to this Virginia team. No matter what happens in this game, all I can say is this has been an excellent performance by Ohio, but Virginia in the driver's seat trying to take this Eastern Championship.
To Virginia's credit, though, they have stuck with their style of offense, these quick hits and quick successive hits, perfectly throughout this series. I mean, the passing plays in transition have always been pinpoint accurate, that leads to fast shots, rebound opportunities, and that's a big reason why they're putting up 14 shots per game in the last couple of games. So Virginia, they are #1 for a reason. They know how to win games. They know how to win series. Despite the dire start to this series, they've bounced back, but now a dire start in game 6. They concede first. We'll see if they can bounce back in this individual game.
It's been a while since Ohio has had any leads here in this series. I think since probably the last game that they won, they haven't had a lead. Been struggling a little bit as of late, but they get ahead here. Water's clear off the backboard, doesn't go exactly where it needs to go. Now looking to answer back immediately are Virginia. Will they be able to do it? It's Blurry who's going to get the stop here, and just missed the end of that defense. Oh my goodness. The play here from Blurry, the control to force Mystic to go to the corner and then shoot it far post. That's very well executed 1v1.
That was gorgeous. That Blurry just cut up the defense of Ohio, and I mean, Blurry is the player for Virginia that touches the ball the most, which demonstrates a lot of on-the-ball control, and they just used it to perfection. An immediate goal as a result of Blurry controlling possession phenomenally, and that's the kind of star power you need to win championships, and the kind that just got Virginia back level in potentially a season-ending victory should they come out on top here in Game 6.
Very aggressive here coming out from Ohio. They are not able to connect on the demo or the shot. Now both teams will fight for some boost in the corner. Shivo gonna fake out one, gonna win a 50 with another. Coming down here, Water looking to catch up, finding the angle here to go top shelf. It's Blurry who's gonna come in on the play as well. Now all three players pushed up yet again. Shivo grabbing that 100 boost from their teammate who's now rotating out of the play. And Virginia's looking to buy a little bit of time in the corner, reset that offense a little bit. Blurry's touch will go all the way across the face of the net and no look yet.
Now Virginia exercising control over the midfield line again. It's something they've done very, very well. Keep Ohio back, keep them low on boost, but Ohio does find it clear. They find the release valve for all that pressure that Virginia was building up right then. They can look to take their lead back. I'm Mediocre. Next up, slams it off the back wall. Bumped their position when they can maybe touch it again, but the defense prepared for it, and Virginia ready to strike on the other end, but Mystic, big block. Raids tries to break out. It'll be I'm Mediocre, though, that pushes the ball over the midfield line into the front bumper of Raids, and so we go back and forth again. Transitional Rocket League with these two squads tied 1 apiece in what could be the final game of the Eastern Region season.
Shivo's touch out to midfield is going to be redirected. Now it's going to be intercepted by Blurry. It is on target. Mediocre going to get credit for the save. Here comes some transition from Mystic. Throws this one on target. It's just a bit wide. Water doesn't even have to save it as the post comes out, saving the day for Virginia. Water off the ceiling. Rains off the backboard. Looking for a double. Does not have it. Mystic comes in for the follow. Ohio back in the lead.
And Raid again with the amount of respect that they demand in the air from the defense of Virginia. Forces 2 up off their goal line and out of position for the Mystic follow-up. All Mystic had to do was avoid the in-and-out save. They did it by placing it bottom left. That is perfect execution by Ohio. Efficiency's kind of been the word of the series for you and I, Trippin. And Ohio continues to be efficient with their scoring opportunities and goals. They are almost finding a third on what was their 5th shot of the game, but nice save by Virginia.
Mystic almost had them on that play. I was watching with 20 boosts, settling that one down. Mystic had the flick, and absolutely impeccable defensive performance there in that 1v1 scenario. Blurry looking for a pass straight down in front of the net, saved by Mediocre. And here they go again in transition. It's going to be Raids on target. Nobody home for the Virginia defense. Ohio extends to 2.
Virginia got over-aggressive again in offense. That Achilles heel coming back to maybe kill them in this game 6. It's been a long, long time since Ohio has had a 2-goal lead, and they've got one with 1:44 in game 6, trying to force game 7 in this grand finals. And in every single game that Ohio has won, Virginia's been held to just 1 goal scored. So far, that's been the case. Virginia, though, 90 seconds left to get that offense going again.
We know that Virginia offense can pop off at any time, and as soon as we think that everything is over, it's when Virginia starts to look their best. Need to settle down a little bit here. With a minute and 20 seconds left to go, Ohio knows it. They'll keep that pressure up. They'll keep someone very, very deep in mediocre. Looking for Raids off the backboard. Would have been a great look. Not going to have it. Going the other way. Mystic demoing one. A great shot here is going to be turned away immediately. Coming from Water. It's going to be mediocre. Going the other way with the look off the backboard is Raids going down. Has the angle. Raids. Oh my goodness. How did they make this read?
That right there is why Virginia has been double committing when Raids is about to take a shot from above the crossbar. Like, that's an insane shot to hit in this kind of scenario against the best team in your region, and that's why Virginia has looked panicked at times. When Ohio has the ball above that blue box, why they've conceded a lot. When Ohio starts to play in that space just above the goal. Well executed fourth goal right there by Ohio. Great shot. I think it sealed game 6 and might have set us on a course for game 7, barring an insane comeback.
You know, a lot of times I'm going to say about this point, yeah, it absolutely does seal it, and that's just based purely on the stat line. I think there's a little bit more to this one, though. If you watch the way that Virginia has been positioned, they look like they are panicked. You've said it a number of times, and it is a perfect word to describe what the team looks like right now. It doesn't look like the cohesive Virginia offense we've seen in the last couple games. It doesn't look like the squad that came back from the deficit that they had. They look very different in this game. I think for sure for Virginia, this is very much a GG go next kind of situation. Get this one out of your head, regroup, because now we're going to be moving in to a game number 7 between these two teams.
Projection, though, was 50-50 in that game. Ohio just finished their chances a little bit better, and there we go. 8 shots for Ohio. That is their highest total in this series thus far. The previous one was 6, and they've gotten to 8 this time around. Still giving up a number of shots to Virginia, 9 in that game, so they were outshot, Ohio was, but they were efficient. Again, that word just keeps coming back because that's how Ohio is surviving in this series, how they forced game 7 against Virginia, again going to a 1-game decider. These two teams are very obviously the two best teams in this region, and we're being treated to a heck of a grand finals here.
No, we had a pretty good feeling this one was going to go the distance, and it sure did. It didn't matter. You know, the last series probably also would have gone to 7 had there been 2 more games available. But you know, the thing about a best of 5 is that it ends in 5 games. The thing about a best of 7 is it ends in 7 games. And game number 7, we have winner take all in this scenario between the two. Virginia again in blue, Ohio again in orange. Kickoff is going to be Virginia punting it to the Ohio side, going over the top. All 3 players moved up here for Virginia. It'll be Shibo positioning on the back line, dunked by Raids. This one going touchdown, saved by Water off of their own corner. The response here from Mediocre is saved by Water as well, and Shibo clears.
Water plus Woodwork is an insane duo right now. 2 saves off the post and crossbar to keep Ohio off the board in the first 30 seconds of this game, but Ohio continuing their reign of terror right here. They look like the more confident of the two teams. Virginia's playing from their back foot right now in defense, and yes, they can transition quickly and deadly, but not right there. Mediocre had them red. I was worried for Ohio. I thought Virginia was going to prove my point with how lethal they look in counterattack mode.
Yeah, I thought the flip reset was there as well, but unfortunately for Virginia, it was not. Fortunately for Ohio, they had a good opportunity to make a read and the save. Not enough boost to catch up to it. Blurry knows that they'll carry this one all the way to the backward. Has 0 boost to work with. Trying to dunk Mediocre. Cannot find it. Water will come in. They'll make it past. Shibo too far away, and Mystic will clear it down the other side through 1 minute of gameplay here with no goal yet. There's a big demo. The shot opportunity here from Raids is unfortunately missed. They're going to miss out on that one. Now here comes a counterattack. It's on target right away. Mediocre, the one with the initial stop. Back out to mid and then 50 by Raids.
Oh, Raids is going to want that last shot right back because apparently they can only score insane soft touches from the sky. These open nets are killing them here, but we're still tied thanks to phenomenal defense on both ends. Raids looking for a second opportunity, maybe set something up in offense, get Ohio on the board first because through the first 2 minutes, they've controlled the field. Raids, though, another kind of dead to rights defense moment that they can't put the shot on target with. with. Right there, a much more difficult shot to put on net. Didn't have the angle, though, and Ohio forced away empty-handed once more.
You know, it's crazy to say, but missing 2 goals is the least efficient that we have seen this Ohio team, and they come back immediately to respond. It took 4 shots in order for one to finally go in for Raids, but it's this one that does a perfect redirect dead center of the goal. It's 77 miles per hour as well. That's a speedy one and gives Ohio a lead here in the deciding Game 7.
So you know how I said the last game with 8 shots, Ohio had reached their highest mark of shooting this entire series? Mm-hmm. They're already at 7, and we're not even at halftime yet. They have been peppering that Virginia goal line time in, time out at the beginning of Game 7 right now. It's a recipe for success. Virginia has demonstrated it, and Ohio with the lead now, if they keep it up, could be walking away as champions of the Eastern region in the Stride eSports Rocket League.
That one's just narrowly missing the net as we hit that halftime, and Shibo clears it out to midfield. The big demo coming out, raises his shot, will be wide of the target. A boost steal in the corner. Blurry going back, and there is absolutely no hope there for the Virginia defense, catching themselves out in that aggressive pace again as water just spawns right in front of Blurry. Grabs the boost, nothing Blurry can do, and that is just a pain on top of pain situation.
I mean, the boom right before that ball went in was exactly the key to that play. Again, Ohio finding a physical goal. Response denied by a mediocre. Nice response potentially for Virginia if they can get that to go, but mediocre is way too fast off kickoff. And now Mystic being speedy, setting up mediocre potentially a shot, but they are all the way back. No mediocre in sight. Going to play a little more passive now that you've got a 2-goal lead in Game 7 against Virginia Virtual Academy.
I don't think Ohio really has to worry too much about changing the way that they're playing the game, and it's not just because they're winning, it's because what they're doing has been so darn effective on both sides of the ball. They come in with another great defensive save with Blurry going for it, and Mystic, who came in and got the save. Water will roll this one off the back wall, but with no boost to work with, Blurry can't get there either. Now Mediocre has an opportunity to carry this one into the net. Shibo coming in at the last possible second to make a huge save.
Or picked up 100 right there at the midfield, going to put the ball center, but no one ready to shoot for Virginia. It was too hard hit off the corner wall. Shibo, though, unchallenged right now, could be scoring to cut this lead to just 1. Virginia not dead yet. They've got a minute 10 to claw their way back, and they're halfway there.
Pepik, you said the key word on the call there, and it is unchallenged. We have not really seen this Virginia team not get challenged by someone from Ohio when they've had those air dribble opportunities. We finally see why that's such a bad idea to leave them free, and Blurry gonna answer right away. That kickoff reset getting Virginia right back into the game in the final 60 seconds.
And that was a suboptimal touch from Raid. Left Mystic on an island. Mediocre was trying to get back, but Blurry has everywhere on that goal line to pick, to shoot, and they chose the perfect spot. 2-2, Virginia rising from the grave to level us up with 60 seconds left. Oh my, are you not entertained?
All right, well, now both teams are going to have opportunities here in the final minute. It is tied all up. Raids is going to be the one to start it. It's saved by Shibo. Cleared out to midfield. Mystic with the control. They'll pop this one to Blurry, who will play it off their own corner to Water. The communication's strong, but it's Raids who will intercept Shibo on the dunk. Now it's going to be Shibo versus 2. Shibo with no boost, flicks it over the top of 1, hits the crossbar. Coming back down and around, it's Water who will play it out of the corner. A little bit of the save as we hit the final 30.
That was an incredible block to keep us level. 2-2 in that final 30 now. The players starting to feel the urgency of the situation. Do or die in regulation or go to overtime. A third option here since we are at that 2-2 mark. Virginia trying to set themselves up for the last couple of opportunities in Game 7 regulation. But Ohio going to clear the ball out. Mediocre, the player you want behind the ball if you're an Ohio fan. Mystic stepping up. Ray, a chance to shoot for the win. Just short, and Mediocre not there for an immediate follow-up. And we get Game 7 overtime in the Eastern Region Grand Finals. The scriptwriters on point tonight.
Another one I think Ohio's going to want back, and will they give up an opportunity right here off the kickoff? That one will at least die for the time being, but incredibly dangerous look there. Off of a kickoff, it's been Virginia who has been incredibly strong up to this point. They don't get that one, but the pressure from Ohio coming back right away. And here's a solid defense. It's coming in. Opportunity here for Blurry. They'll score on the open net, and Virginia will come back from down 2 games in this series in game number 7. Down by 2 goals. They'll finish it here. It's Blurry with the 3rd, and that's it after 27 seconds.
Was there ever a doubt that Virginia was the best team in the Stride eSports Rocket League Eastern region? I don't think so. Despite Ohio's best efforts, Virginia, the cap off was an undefeated season, 10-0 to get to the grand finals, to make it 11 and crown themselves champions. What a series, though. That was one of my all-time favorites. I've been here for 2 seasons, the Stride eSports Rocket League, and that, I think, is the best series I have ever watched.
Hey, I mean, honestly, coming in as the new guy and not really having to get an opportunity to see what these teams are like, now I know I have been turned on to what it is that these kids are able to do, and phenomenal performance there from both of them. I mean, Ohio, again, as you mentioned, probably the undisputed number 2 in the Eastern Conference, coming back to at least bring this one to Game 7, playing that Virginia team close ever again. And Virginia, I'm not going to say, really won in a dominant fashion. They kind of hung on there for a little bit. There was 1 or 2 opportunities just happened to fall the right way for Virginia. But if those 1 or 2 opportunities fall the other way for Ohio, I think we have a different result in this series. And if anything else, again, you hate to talk about moral victories in a situation like this. I don't think that Ohio could have played any better.
No, I don't think they could have. I mean, maybe you're right. Turning a couple of those chances, and Raids is just sitting in the lobby alone right now. Well, I'm there as well, so I can see, but Raids just kind of sitting there, like taking the field after a big loss. You're so close, and just kind of reflecting of the series, the games, the season. But Ohio had a heck of a season to get to this point, to take on Virginia, take them to the last game in 2 different series this season. It's an impressive result for Ohio. Of the 6 games that Virginia lost, 5 of those were inflicted by Ohio. So congratulations to Virginia for winning. Congratulations to Ohio for coming in 2nd place. And Trippin, we've got a Central Western region matchup coming up in just about an hour's time. Indiana versus Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville. You've gotten to look at these teams a little bit before we go to a break. Do you have a preview for us?
I mean, I don't know. It's going to be close. We were talking about in this series how we had undisputed number 1 and undisputed number 2 kind of going head to head. And I think we probably have a little bit of that, but we do have a 1 seed versus a 3 seed. So there's that little bit of underdog story to go with, but the number 1 seed incredibly strong. And as you mentioned, we'll see them in just about an hour. And that is going to be another highlight reel sort of series.
Absolutely is. And then if you are curious as well, the 3rd place match, South Carolina beating Insight Pennsylvania 4-2 to claim their spot in the 3rd place side of the podium. So that'll do it for the Eastern region. The season all wrapped up. We're taking just about a 50-minute break before the broadcast. We'll be back with Indiana Digital Learning School versus Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville. Stay in your seats. Welcome back, everyone, to Stride eSports Rocket League. I hope you are able to scrounge up some snacks and sodas for one final series on the season here at Stride eSports for Rocket League. Bepic and Trippin back in the booth for the Central Western region. Trippin, we kind of previewed it before the longer break after the Eastern region banger that we had earlier, but Indiana Digital Learning School versus Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville, the final two teams standing in the Central Western region.
Yeah, we've got a number 1 versus a number 3 seed, and very much like we had in that first series, we have one team who's been dominant all season, who has kicked most of their competition to the curb against a team that is just trying to threaten and keep up with them. And when we had that scenario in our first matchup of the afternoon or evening, whichever time zone you might happen to be in, Bepic, we got a heck of a show. So I've got to believe we're going to see a show one way or the other here in the second matchup.
I hope so, but the contrast between the number 1 team and their opponent in this grand finals, I think, is a lot starker. Indiana has not dropped a game all season. Like they've swept every single series they've played, and they've played 10 of them. So that doesn't bode well for TVA, but things can change in the grand finals. Pressure is on the favorite shoulders to perform well, and Indiana could have that played to their detriment and TVA to their advantage. So we'll see how Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville does. They beat Colorado Digital Career Academy earlier this season, the number 2 overall seed going into playoffs. So they've got a quality win under their belt, and their only 2 losses have come to Washington and this Indiana team. So TVA could maybe do it, maybe throw a wrench into Indiana's plans, but it'll be tough.
Yeah, it's important to get those quality wins in, though, when you have the opportunities, especially when you're talking about, a little bit of competition that might be a little bit unbalanced, one way or the other. You have some teams that are crazy good and some teams who are, just kind of struggling or developing a little bit and trying to catch up a little bit. That makes things a little bit interesting, maybe. But hey, you know what? The important thing is every single game of Rocket League is a learning experience. Doesn't matter how much better the competition is than you. There's always something to take away from it, something to learn about, to understand, what can we do better as a team, or what is happening to our other team. Maybe, especially for me, right? I'm like a Champ 2 player. So when I see some of these teams play, I'm like, oh, that's probably a thing that I should learn how to do, because that'll make me better. You always have those good opportunities when you have these matchups.
Yeah, no kidding. And speaking of learning experiences, way back in week 2, these teams played, and hopefully Texas was taking notes in that one, because they did get swept, yes, but one of those games was a 1-goal game. Game 2 was a 1-0 win in favor of Indiana. The other 2 were kind of blowouts, but the fact that you can hold Indiana down like that in a game to just 1 goal scored bodes well potentially for your chances in this grand finals. And a best of 7, so plenty of time to learn about what Indiana's trying to do to take the number 1 overall spot after all the dust has settled here in the Central Western region. But here we go. Let's see what these 2 teams have got for us. Is off kickoff already a miss from Indiana, so maybe that means they'll be shaky and we can see an upset potentially.
Oh, potentially. We have at least one save here, and Watermelon will throw the back wall, and Seth is far too speedy. Right off the call here, and Dion Belly looks like they're in a decent spot to make it clear. Watermelon says no, and Seth says I will bury this one. An early 1-0 lead for Indiana.
I love that. I mean, I kind of tongue-in-cheek say that after Seth missed that ball, that maybe the upset's going to happen. And then Seth scores the opening goal not like 5 seconds later, because that's how Indiana works. I'm trying to believe in TVAW here, but Indiana is just that dominant. And I know everyone loves a good underdog story, but TVAW is a serious underdog story. That's not testament to them being bad at all. That's testament to just how good Indiana is. They are by far, and I think in both regions, the best team. I would love to see an Indiana versus Virginia matchup. That'd be for fun in the offseason, but Indiana is just that good.
Yeah, that would be a really good show match to watch for sure. And we're through about the first minute of gameplay here with just that 1-0 lead. They're looking for a second one here. A good fake attempt here by Zach. And TM Belly just a little bit too quick. Goes for the ego challenge. And that's something that you got to do when you're talking about, you know, kind of a team that's probably going to overpower you, is you have to get in the face of absolutely everything. Challenge every single ball. Go for every single touch. Just do what you can to keep them away from your net to give yourself some sort of chance.
Absolutely, and in the face right there, TM Belly stuffing a watermelon. So this is the first real opportunity that TVA's gotten in offense. Blue Dreams playing it off the ceiling on target. Seth will have the block, and TM Belly bested there by the second touch of Seth. Now a subsequent challenge won by Indiana, and Seth kind of just destroyed everything TVA was trying to build right there. That was a lot of work accomplished in the midfield, setting up Zach for an opportunity, and Indiana right back to cooking in offense.
It's going to be Seth centering this one to Zach. It will be 15 and coming out the other way. TM over the redirect, has this one on target, and TM Belly 23 with a highlight reel goal of their own. They play it to the left wall, a perfect recovery. They dunk watermelon and they score this one right from midfield.
That's an absurd shot to get TVA really started in this series, but whatever works. That's a perfect challenge, and Texas is rewarded for it. Now we're level, and their defense is kind of solidified after conceding in the first 15 seconds, so maybe we got ourselves a game one right here. But Indiana trying to answer back. I like the idea, but the pass just a little bit off, didn't lead to a shot, so we go back to the corner, try to work from there.
Going to be Zach playing the ball downfield, settled out in front of the net, and Zach not able to get it quite on frame. And Seth harassing a little bit here for Indiana in blue. We got Texas in orange for this matchup. Halfway through game number 1 of the best of 7 series. As we mentioned, the number 1 versus the number 3 seed. And Indiana up to this point has not dropped a game in season play, have swept every single series, and find themselves in a tie ball game with the number 3 seeded Texas, who wants to change that.
It's a nice win. Again, Indiana kind of dominating the center third of the pitch at the moment, and finding those opportunities as a result, but forced back right there by Texas. Zach's second touch, no good, and Texas trying to spring the trap here on the Indiana defense, but Seth will win that opportunity. Couldn't get a second touch, and Blue Dreams some space to control here. We'll get it over watermelon, but tank runs dry, and that demo going to stunt any potential out for Texas here. So I'll have to rely on a big bang downfield to set up a next offensive.
It's going to be Zach who has some of that offense, and watermelon on the redirect. It's just a little bit wide. Zach there for the follow-up. Very slow roller in front of the net. A great 50 will come straight back down. 90 seconds left to go. Watermelon does not collect the touch. LJG trying to recover, looking for a 50 on Zach. That pinch will scream all the way across the pitch, and now some physical play coming out from Indiana as they get one demo in front of the net. It's passed to Zach. TM is right there, ready to go back out to midfield. Watermelon's touch knocked down by LGJ. Will anyone be there? No, they will not. And a lot of pressure here from Indianapolis, Mr. Betbeck, but Texas is holding on defensively.
They're doing a great job of just stomaching this pressure. They're letting Indiana come to them, and they're confident in their ability to stop whatever mechanical shot Indiana throws at them. But there's no one home right now. Seth just missed an open net, and Zach missed the rebound. That's one I'm sure Indiana will want back, because they had a free go-ahead goal in the final minute right in front of them, but they couldn't turn it in. Texas counting their lucky stars just a little bit as they get out, but Zach right back to it, and the defense again going to hold.
Watermelon going up the back wall here as TM Belly puts it in front of the net. Seth collects with 20 seconds and counting. slowing things down, looking to set up an offensive play. And again, Texas keeping that pressure up. As I mentioned, important to get in the face of your opponent when you might be overmatched. This shot going just a little bit wide of the target, hitting the last 10 seconds here of game number 1.
Indiana, chance here with Zach running out of boost. The double just off target, almost got it on frame. Watermelon still might. A slow roller just off the post and hits the dirt on 0 seconds. Oh my, Texas, they had to make 9 saves in regulation, but they only concede once, and thanks to their incredible goal from the field earlier, they get themselves into overtime, and this game 1 is rocking already.
Well, maybe a little bit of underestimation on the part of the desk here for what Texas was going to be able to do. You said they might be able to throw a wrench into the plans, and this is a huge wrench that they have thrown. This is a back-breaking sized wrench that they've thrown into the plans so far. It's going to be LJG. I'm going to take forever, and I'm never going to get that one right. I'm so sorry. Going to have a play here in the corner, rolls this one back around through the first 30 seconds of overtime. No goal yet, but LJ with control.
And plenty of boost as well off the sidewall. Take it into a dribble. Will beat Seth, but that's all they're going to get, as Zach was on the goal line alongside Watermelon. They both jumped for the ball, but Zach that finds the save, and now a chance for Indiana to break out, and they will get there. Seth, plenty of boost in the tank again. It seems to be a common theme. Indiana, so many resources to apply to their counterattacks, and finally, one breaks through. 64 seconds in, Indiana take game 1.
I mean, it certainly was a little bit of a struggle to get that far, but finally Indiana is able to set up a play that the defense was not ready for. Doesn't have the read for that pass, bouncing out of the corner, and Seth taking down those MVP honors, collecting 1 goal on 5 shots. Zach, 1 goal on 6 shots. Watermelon going 0 for 4. And, you know, Bepik, this kind of reminds me of what we saw earlier today in terms of matches. One team puts 15 shots on target, and the other one comes away with almost double-digit saves.
No, I mean, that's how the underdogs seemingly have to win against these juggernaut rosters in Indiana, in Virginia. And TVA, they played the part almost perfectly. They could have won that right there. There were maybe a couple opportunities where Indiana wasn't completely set defensively that maybe Texas could have hopped on a little bit faster and scored. I'm not sure, but Indiana found a way to win. That's what championship caliber teams do. They find a way to win even when it's sloppy, even when they're making mistakes. They find ways to get tick marks on the scoreboard.
Yeah, 1 tick mark they do have, and they'll look for a second one here as we move on into game number 2 of this series. TVA trying to get another one on the board, really put Indiana on the ropes throughout that first game. They got to do more than just get them on the ropes this time. They got to get them over the top rope. Let's see if they can do it here. Off the kickoff, Zach will have an opportunity to shoot. That's exactly what they do. TM Belly going to make the stop. Seth with the tight angle off the backboard in front of the net. Watermelon comes in and cleans it right up, and Indiana out to a quick lead.
And it's just like we never left game 1. I mean, Indiana scoring within the first 15 seconds again, and Texas Virtual Academy at Hallsville have to respond again. We'll see if they can do it, repeat that performance in game 2, just rewrite the ending just a little bit. Plenty of time to do it, but that early concession has not got to feel good with how close that first game was. Digging yourself a hole already off kickoff, and Texas capable of coming back from that hole, getting themselves out of it, but it'll be a grind.
And you have to remember as well, you're talking about a team that has not dropped a single game in regulation, and going down to them early is not easy. An opportunity here, a light touch on target. Oh, look at this save! Pinched off the post, but it's not enough. Blue Dreams is ready for that one. A phenomenal shot here by TM Belly with the lob. Seth has a crazy save, but it pinches right to Blue Dreams. Dead center, goes top shelf. The equalizer goal for TVA.
Or, well, maybe instead of a grind, it'll just be an easy response for Texas. I suppose I have underestimated them far too many times in this matchup, as that was a phenomenal play. You're right, great save, but the rebound better, and okay, Indiana right back in the lead, just like that first goal from TVA never happened.
Something about kickoffs just looks so unbelievably comfortable for Indiana. They have gotten possession off of pretty much all of them. They've put shots on target very quickly as well. Sometimes they've scored, sometimes they haven't, but that seems to be their bread and butter. The more kickoff situations that Indiana gets into, the more I'm concerned about what Texas is going to be able to do about them.
That's a big part of the game. Those kickoffs in Indiana, if they continue to dominate the center circle, could take those advantages over the edge in this series. That was a triple commit in defense. Tiva a little scattered right there, but they recovered. LJG, good challenge in the corner to slow things down. Seth trying to pick up the pace again, and they force one to jump on the near post, but LJG recovers nicely, and TM Belly half clear to the midfield line, but into Zach's open arms, and it leads to a goal immediately after Zach picks it on up.
A solid passing play again here from Indiana. It's all about knowing where your position is going to be on the field. Zach puts one near the target. Okay, I actually thought Watermelon scored that one, but they just missed it. But either way, you send one in front of the box, you give yourself a good look like that, someone is going to score the goal. That's exactly what happened there. Off the backboard, this one is high up in the air. Seth looking for the recover, going for the ground pinch, plays it into the corner, still has some possession on this ball. Watermelon will be the one to call them off. LJG will play it to the right side. Blue Dreams is there to kick this one downfield. Seth on the challenge, gonna get beat. Two players screaming in for Tiva, but not able to get anything productive.
And Tiva, they're surviving now. They're doing much better than they were previously. It felt like those last couple of possessions for Indiana were just total domination leading to goals. And okay, well, never mind. Indiana going to continue the domination leading to goals. And this one just a soft lob on target. Watermelon threatens the bump. Blue Dreams has to back off and then couldn't make the read. Tough spot to be in.
Yeah, that's a really tough read to make. You're sitting in the net, ball's coming straight down. You don't know when it's going to hit the ceiling, how hard it's going to hit the ceiling, the angle it comes down at. You know, for these Rocket League players, it's incredibly difficult to make that read in any sort of productive way. Unfortunately, it goes right into the net. So a 3-goal lead for Indiana here as Watermelon continues that pressure, gets a nice dunk on the goal line, and allows Indiana continue to play offense. LG finally going to be able to get it at least past midfield.
And we're still hovering around the 80% mark when it comes to field domination, which means 80% of this game spent on the Texas Virtual Academy side. They have been playing a lot of defense, and they've only come with 4 saves on 8 shots, and the other 4 accounted for on that scoreboard. So they really need to save everything from here on out because Indiana is not playing it accurately and they're generating themselves a lot of offense. Clears would certainly help the case of Texas, but even those are few and far between. And even when they do find a clear, it's immediately put right back in their face. Seth, an incredible read off the back wall. Had all day to hit it, but it's impressive nonetheless.
Oh, this is absolutely disgusting from Zeth. Just able to recover to the backboard and to use that flip to jump out, get in front of the play, use the boost and the flip time to perfection. As far as Seth is concerned, that is a free play goal, and that is easy all day, every day, but I can promise you folks, that is by no means an easy goal to hit. They look for another crazy angle here. They don't get that one. At least it's back out to midfield as Texas doing everything in their power to get this ball out of their half, and they finally get it out, at least for now.
Even there, not able to put a shot on, and Seth finds a clearance to put Texas right back on their own half. Good demo. It's a double demo, though. And so Texas still can't gain possession. Seth just lobbing one towards net. It's a soft one, but it sets up a potential shot. Watermelon goes underneath the ball. And with under 90 seconds left to play, Indiana is still scoring. This game, too, looking a lot like what I feared we could see a lot of, and that's just Indiana straight up taking over.
Yeah, another ball that just goes off of the ceiling, and a pinch play will just trickle into the Tiva net. And honestly, at this point, it doesn't matter what they put in front of it. Everything that Indy touches seems to just go right into the net, or at least in the face of the net, and gives them a very good offensive look. A very good performance so far. Seth on the pre-jump there for some defense, but not able to connect. A nice shot here from LJG. It'll go just a little bit wide of the target. The first good look we've seen from Texas in a hot minute, but it's a good one. But unfortunately, the defense for Indianapolis is right there.
Better late than never, though. Getting your offense going in a game like this can help you going forward into Game 3. We saw the kind of response that Virginia had in the last series when they were down 0-2 in a best-of-7 series. They stormed back, got the series lead, and going into Game 6, and they ended up winning in 7, but the resilience is what you have to demonstrate to be able to win series in these regional leagues. And you can kickstart that resilience going into Game 3 with some offense right now. But not if you don't have cars. So Watermelon ruining the car privileges of a pair of TVOP players there for a second. That's just going to make playing offense that much harder.
And no cars, no boost, difficult situation, and now no angle either to go with it in this 6-1 scenario. This bounce shot is on target. Seth will come in and collect a quick save. Zach is ready on the backboard into the corner. This will be pinched out. Seth going up. Watermelon there as well. They'll play it into the corner. Spike down, and Indiana will take the 2-0 lead. And as you said, Bepic, what's important right now is if Texas is going to have that bounce back, that resiliency that we saw in an earlier scenario where a team goes down 2-0 early and then has to claw their way back. Another 12 shots on target, 6 saves for Tiva, and that just goes to show how well Indiana shot the ball. Every single thing was on target. They either scored or it got saved.
And that's seriously impressive. Like, it's very easy to just have one shot maybe go a little bit off, or it's saved by the post or something. But no, Indiana putting everything on target, and you can't really beat that very easily. Texas, they're trying to demonstrate that they've got the facilities necessary to take that Indiana when they are playing at championship level of Rocket League, but it's a near impossible task right now. Texas has got to find a way in Game 3 to control the pace just a little bit more, find more possession. They were outpossessed 70% to 30% in that last game, and that's not a recipe for success against Indiana.
No, I did like what I saw, though. I mean, I certainly think Texas had a couple of really good looks. And game number 1, like I said, they were in the face of Indiana. And that's what you have to do when you know you've got a team ahead of you who's probably going to dominate you. You get those ego challenges out of the way, force them to do something. Honestly, force them to be better than you. Don't come out and try to beat yourselves. Make them have that flag. Make sure they have to have that ball control. Every once in a while, you get their nerves rocked a little bit. You can find an opening, and you can get a couple of very surprising goals. We'll see if they can get one here early on off the kickoff.
That's a nice touch, popping the ball out of control of Indiana potentially, but Watermelon swooped in to grab control right back. Now aggression from Indiana, exercising control that way, and now Texas can take advantage of that, throwing the aggression right back in their face because now Indiana's undermanned in defense, but Seth and Zach do get back as Watermelon buys time to set up this counterattack. Zach almost dunking in the first goal of Game 3. That would have been an emphatic way of starting in favor of Indiana. Instead, though, TM Belly and Texas going to hold on defensively.
Oh, that was a great look there offensively from Indy, but a way better look defensively from Tiva. They get in the face of the opponents. They get a couple solid 50s coming down off the backboard to make a clutch save, just launching a player off the ball when they had a flip reset. I mean, what more can you ask for defensively from this squad? As Seth's touch gonna go back out to midfield. LJG chasing it down, has a shot on target. Watermelon will get there just barely in time to keep it out of the net. Still locked up at 0 as Seth gets some offense down the left wing.
That was some dangerous defense, though, by Indiana. And Texas can capitalize on that if they're not careful. A chance here. A Watermelon all alone, but does find a block and use the post to get the ball out as well. Indiana, they have such a knack for making saves and then immediately following that up with good ball control or a pass or whatever it takes to find the clear immediately after getting these blocks, which is tough to set up offense against, but Texas doing a pretty good job of it. This is much more back and forth, similar to Game 1, where Texas was able to find their 6 opportunities on that blue goal line and make it a 1-goal game. So they're getting back to their Game 1 selves, but no one has scored just yet in Game 3, and that means defenses still have to be on high alert.
Yeah, midfield here for TM Belly. LG gonna be ready for it. It'll go all the way to the back wall. Blue Dream's gonna get demoed out of the play. Seth is gonna have a pass here, looking for an opportunity. They'll go for it themselves. They're not gonna get it. It's saved on the goal line. Now cleared off of the goal line as well. Zach having to retreat back. Watermelon out there with them, cleared by Zach, looking for Watermelon to get on the redirect. It's LJG who's going to get in the way of it. Blue Dreams trying to hang it out, not going to happen. Ooh. Save again on the goal line. Defense standing strong here for Texas, looking for a counterattack opportunity one of these times.
8 shots for Indy here in this game, 7 saves by their opponents, and a pair of demos right there, one inflicted upon each side. It won't deter this Indiana attack. Instead, Seth off the ceiling with an incredible shot, which is something you should just follow up by saying Seth's shot incredible, always.
We knew he had the mechanics to do this and uses that ceiling shot opportunity to get into the perfect placement to make sure they score the opening goal for their team, now allowing Indiana to be up 1-0 with 2 minutes left to go. And here's Texas coming, looking for an answer. Watermelon will get that dunk initially. That team now not going to quite be able to catch up. Let's retreat back on defense. Watermelon is going to punt LJG out of the way. Not quite going to be enough. Now Watermelon getting punted off the backboard as well. Pressure mounting here for Indiana, but Texas able to clear it as Blue Dreams with control on the right wing.
Not center ball, but no one to shoot as Seth took out TM Belly. The demos raining in, and both sides are really using them to great success. We saw a second ago a bump to slow down Indiana in offense, and then their fire kind of returned, and now it's right back in the face of Texas. Blue Dreams demoed by Zach. So many demos thus far, 5 total between these two teams in Game 3. I'm loving the explosive style that Game 3 has taken shape of.
Yeah, that physical gameplay, again, another key to victory when you have an opponent that you know you're going to struggle against. When you're making that physical play, it can also get them rattled quite a bit. A great demo there on the shot opportunity. Seth did everything they could to set up that play. It still wasn't enough to get a goal to be scored. It'll be out in front of the box. Watermelon is going to redirect this one out to midfield. Zach with a flip reset. Seth with the shot is going to go off the post and in. I could not believe the Rocket League servers wanted that one to be a goal, but here it is.
The pop from Watermelon to set Zach up to find Seth down the field sums up Indiana and their ability to create offense out of defense. Again, a quick transition following a save, and they make it 2-0. Sub 60 seconds here in Game 3, and could be on the precipice of taking the #1 spot in the Central Western region, the Stride eSports Rocket League side of competition. Just 30 seconds left, and they will be just 1 game away from winning this season without dropping a game.
LJG trying to make that not happen. Unfortunately, will have the ball pickpocketed from them. Bouncing around in the corner, and Blue Dreams will go off the ceiling. Dunked by Zach with 0 boost to work with. Nice shot here by TM Belly. No one can get there in time, however, for Texas to get the goal. Had that look right in front. Seth's touch will go off of their own backboard. They will pinch clear it back around the horn. 1 goal opportunity at 0 seconds here for Texas. We'll see if they're able to make that happen. No, Seth will knock that one down with the rest of the Indiana squad and a 3-0 advantage now, and they are all the way up to match point already.
Texas on the brink of losing out on first place here. Just 2 shots allowed by Indiana in that game. 12 shots to 2, and another blowout in that category. But Texas, to their credit, their defense is keeping them in this thing. 8 saves made to keep that game manageable, and with that possession at the end of the game, maybe could have gotten something started, but Indiana not allowing them to, and a 3-0 series lead going into Game 4. This is looking really good for INDLS.
Yeah, the longer the series goes on, the better this Indiana team seems to get. The shot totals continuing to stay in the double digits, but more importantly, the shot totals are going down for Texas, and that is where the real difference maker is so far in this series. Is as those shots continue to go down, those opportunities become less and less. That means even more pressure being put on by that Indiana squad. The numbers 100% back that up to this point as well. It'll go off the sidewall for Seth. They'll get beaten by Blue Dreams, who will chase it into the corner, doing anything they can to get Watermelon, who's now switched to the Merc, off of the ball. They're not going to have that great of an opportunity. Zach with the flick. They have some possession. Watermelon getting real physical here, but Blue Dreams will knock them out of the play, but not quite enough. Back out to midfield. TM Belly going the other way, but Seth is going to recover just in the nick of time.
Indiana with a confidence play right there, sending the murked up watermelon down the pitch to Demo, and they're faking potential read off the back wall, and what a save by LJG, nullified by Seth, who's gonna score first here in game 4. Indiana just gets quality chance after quality chance, in this moment no different.
Yeah, and it's really that Zach had such a good initial shot on this play that was very, very difficult to save for the defense. Really, any save that they would have gotten was very likely to lead to some sort of rebound opportunity. It's exactly what we ended up seeing on the pitch, that goal being scored, opening things up. Now here comes Watermelon with the flip reset, regaining some control. Zach will take this one away from their teammate. Gonna get a couple low 50s here. Seth will chase it up the side wall, clear it out to midfield, has some boost to work with. It's gonna be saved on the back line there by Blue Dreams. And a very solid TVOD defense continues to show their strides.
LJG is making another tough block, needs some help as well, and Blue Dreams going to provide it. Plus an extra little dunk right there to find the defensive TVOD clear of Indiana's offense, and scoring in transition. That right there is the key to victory. Tough block into quick transition, and efficient offense is what Texas is going to need to employ to win this series.
Some fantastic speed from LJG there on that play to be up and ready to get that ball shot in as quickly as they could. Very good look from them to go up at least to get this game tied, but that is something we have seen before, where there has been what seems like a lot of Texas momentum going in one direction, and Indiana answers immediately.
Well, Seth is the player you want to kind of spearhead that answering attack. Zach next up in rotation, forcing an awkward touch out of LJG, but the defense intact. They are double committing, triple committing a lot more than they should, and that does bode well for Indiana, but haven't broken through just yet, and this looks good for a clear. Blue Dreams extends the ball over the midfield line and deep into Indiana territory. Shot there from TM Belly, snuffed out by Zach, who's now down the pitch looking to interfere. No pre-jump. Seth's shot turned pass didn't really work out. Okay, almost worked out, but LJG back in time. I don't know how Indiana does some of the things they do in offense.
I don't know how that works either. I mean, honestly, this a little bit of this seems to be that controlled chaos style of play, for lack of a better term, and even with the Watermelon bump here, it's not quite enough to score the goal. Seth will retreat, Watermelon will pop, at least try to get something working here for Zach, as it'll jump straight down in front of the goal. Always a very dangerous spot to be, but a good clear here from Blue Dreams, keeping this one tight at 1 apiece, and Watermelon making sure to remove a couple players from Texas out of the play. There's a nice pass here from Blue Dreams. Will they have a look from LJG? It's back out to midfield, but Seth is going to win that battle.
Now Blue Dreams looking for a strong touch there, put it off the ceiling and keep the ball in play, but instead Indiana allowed a clear and a pass down the pitch. Zach not coming up with contact and a potential go-ahead goal. Seth going to back wall. Blue Dreams though again there for the save. That's 3 now made in this game. LJG and Blue Dreams both with 3 saves apiece. Those savior medals coming in clutch for TVOD. It's still 1-1 entering the business end of game 4. 105 left on the clock, and no one willing to break the deadlock just yet.
Just so everyone is aware, Blue Dreams just got absolutely robbed from a save coming down off the backboard where it didn't count as a shot, and they had touched the ball too recently. But they absolutely deserved a save for that one. Talking about how good this Texas defense has been, a save that won't go down on the stat line, but is absolutely deserved, keeping this Indiana attack out of the net. Still, it's Blue Dreams with some offense, has some boost, hard touch to the backboard, almost has a double tap read, narrowly misses it. T-Belly gonna go over the top of the net. It's gonna be Blue Dreams making a quick turn, putting it right back in front. A double commit, no one's gonna be there. Zach chasing this one out with 10 boosts to work with, gets it on target. TM Belly with the save. That's too far up, gonna get demoed for the effort. LJG versus Watermelon, 1v1 up the side wall.
And Watermelon forced to lay off that ball, leaving it for Zach. Texas forcing Indiana off some of these plays a lot sooner than I think than the Indiana players want to be forced off the ball. Another great demo, blowing up the offensive for Indiana, but Texas won't be able to find the ball clear. And with 30 seconds left, we're still tied until Seth has something to say about it there. Slots home the go-ahead shot, and that'll be 2-1 Indiana.
Such a narrow window for Seth to be able to score this goal in. I mean, LJG has most of the net covered from their position, but somehow between them and the near post, Zach is able to find the gap and give a late lead here to the Indiana squad as they look to continue and complete their championship run completely undefeated in play. Seth will touch this one out of the corner, out in front of the net, an opportunity for Blue Dreams to take over, but Seth is ready. Pass out to midfield, big boom here from LJG. Zach will have to make a touch, and they do as we hit the final 10.
Texas incoming though. Seth finding a watermelon. That'll help the defensive efforts for Indiana, defending this lead all the way to a championship victory. That ball into the corner might have just sealed it. It did. Indiana sweep their way to victory to the Central Western region, the Stride eSports Rocket League competition. Unbelievable dominance that we rarely get to see in competitive anything, capped off with a championship victory by Indiana Digital Learning School.
Yeah, congratulations to them to make that championship run, get all the way through everything unscathed. But I'm not gonna lie, a couple of those games a lot closer than I think either of us, Bepic, thought that they were going to be. Texas put up one heck of a fight. I mean, you have a lot to be proud of after that performance, taking that team to an overtime that we saw, a couple very close tie games. Things went overall very well for Texas. And again, I said it in the last series and I'll say it again now. You hate to take away some moral victories after that, but that is an overwhelming moral victory.
I mean, second place for Texas in a stacked Central Western region, I think, is a phenomenal result for them. So they should be very proud of their performance, as should everyone that took the pitch this season. But only one team could win, and that is Indiana. And that brings us to a close on Stride eSports Rocket League. Unbelievable. 2 seasons come and gone this year, but we've gotten to watch a lot of entertaining matches between these two regions. It was 3 in the fall, but now 2 this season. And I just got to thank everyone that always showed up in Twitch chat. I mean, the chat was popping during that grand final. So big thanks to the fans that showed up for that one, as well as throughout the season, and to the admin and teachers and parents that make this all possible. Big thank you. We got some more formalities we got to go through before we do come to a final close. So just one reminder, tomorrow, last day of competition before the summer. It's Valorant. It's a best of 3 at 6:30 Eastern time. So make sure you tune in and Stride eSports League right here, the same Twitch channel as you've been doing this entire season. But Trippin, you got spoiled. I mean, you come in for the final day of competition, 2 phenomenal grand finals, 1 game 7 overtime. I want your last words before we bid adieu.
Hey, you know what? If you're gonna show up for one series the entire show, I'm glad that it was as good as it was. Again, competition in high school is absolutely insane, and I love seeing what the next class of kids that are gonna give CRL a shot have to offer. I've had a lot of opportunities in the past to see high school kids move into collegiate level play and perform at an exceptional level, and I certainly think there are a couple kids here who, should they so choose to go on to college, can definitely shake up that scene as well. Getting an opportunity to look in and see what they have to offer is always a blast. 2 great series, and phenomenal as always casting with you, Beppe. Thanks for the invite.
It was a pleasure indeed, but we must say our goodbyes. A shout out to all the seniors graduating and heading into the CRL world going forward of Rocket League. But big hearts to all of you in Twitch chat as always. Thanks for tuning in with us. Thank you to Rhino Vaughn and Tone, our 2 wonderful producers throughout the season, for being wonderful sports and listen to us crazy casters go at it all season long. But for one last time, I've been Mr. Bepic. That was Trippin in the booth with me, Rhino Vaughn in the background. We'll see you next season. Take care.